Hello, welcome back to the studio, the Caring Conversation studio, live from the Care Show in Birmingham. Our sponsors are Cornerstone Care Solutions. So, Louie,
hello.
My son messaged me and he said, my belly keeps sticking out in the fit. So my thing here, my belly keeps popping out.
Yeah.
So we both need to make sure that we're careful and we don't have bellies sticking out.
My GP told me I have diabetes as of 2 weeks ago, and the belly is 100% the culprit. So I am breathing in most of the time.
We can breathe in, make sure bellies aren't sticking out.
If anyone's got an AI plug-in that can remove my belly, I need that much more than an AI that can make a care plan.
Chris, AI to remove bellies? Yeah. He's saying he's going to give it a go. He's going to give it a go.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we'll just sort of turn you. I don't know. We'll turn you into Martin Luther King or something now, because that's apparently.
I think that'd be a bit too much of a change.
Weird. Talking about weird AI things.
Yes.
Have you heard of the term AI slop?
Yes.
Yes, it's a term I've only just heard.
Where people can just create so much rubbishness out of AI.
And there's a real risk of that on the internet. So
hugely.
This is a real piece of content we're making.
I know, with real people.
Real humans.
We are real people, just about.
Are you sure you're not an AI, Louie?
Well, I think, therefore, I am. Yeah, it all gets a bit deep, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I must say, the AI thing that has always scared me is that the creation of information. So I AI'd my dad. So my dad was a rock star like 40, 50 years ago. And I just
like an actual rock star?
Yeah, okay. Queen were their support band. He bought a sandwich for Elton John once. Elvis Costello broke his guitar. Like insane stories my dad had. So I went to AI. How much is Howard worth? Knowing that he's worth bugger all, to be blunt.
Yeah.
It said that he was worth £4 million, which, if it is the truth, is a massive secret he's hiding from all of us.
He's keeping it from you.
Why am I paying your phone bill if you're worth £4 million, Dad?
Apparently, it does just confidently make up about 20% of the stuff.
Yeah.
You ask it questions.
My PhD supervisor. So my aim for next Care Show
you wrote your
in
PhD
April,
with AI.
No. Well, my PhD supervisor said, "Why don't you use a bit of AI just to check things?" And it just made up a load of references that didn't exist. Wow. So we quickly shelved that idea.
Doing a PhD there. So we're just reversing back a bit.
Sorry,
let's do a standard who you are and what you do, Louie.
Where you are and where you come from.
Yes.
My name is Louie and I am the founder of Care Research. We do a lot of training around CQC, getting staff, getting managers ready for CQC. We also do feedback surveys, so running the whole survey process for the people you support, families, staff, partners, and just making sure that's all ready for when CQC arrive.
Perfect.
There's the official bit.
And how's that going? Like, how's
good?
Things?
It's growing. It's gone from, years ago it was just me kind of sitting at the kitchen table with 10, 15 clients. I think we've got about 400 now, and we've got a team of 5 of us now, I believe. I have to check the payroll to remind myself exactly how many people we have. So it's growing, and I think it's one of the things where, as CQC make yet more changes, we know there's going to be another kind of little burst of growth, both in terms of the training and in terms of people realising actually some of this is outside of our control. Some of this feedback stuff needs to be done better. So yeah, we've got some things around the corner as well for 2026.
Fun, exactly. Well, and the PhD, you're doing a PhD.
Yeah. So when my wife was pregnant with our first child, she basically gave me an ultimatum and said, "I would really like to be a stay-at-home mum." I was like, "Fine, okay, but you need to pay for it, Louie." I was like, "Right, okay." So I signed up for this PhD that was fully funded. Because it basically covered my mortgage for 5 years. But now I have to actually finish that PhD or they'll kick me off.
Yeah.
So I've got 1 year to finish it. My intention is that by next Care Show, which is in London, for those of you that are waiting to book, I will officially be Dr. Louie Werth. So hopefully finish it over Christmas, get it submitted, and then the Care Show in April, I will officially be Dr. Louie Werth.
You're going to put it in when you went
I'll submit it
on the badge, on the plane. You're going to put it in on the plane when you travel.
I will only be referred to
on your train ticket.
I will, even my children, no one can refer to me as anything but Dr. Werth for the first 2 or 3 months until I get bored of it, which maybe never. Yeah.
What's your PhD in?
So it's in education, and it's looking at how male teachers express care in the classroom.
Okay.
Because female teachers, it's all pretty written for you. People know what to do. When it comes to male teachers, it's a bit more challenging. People are a bit more nervous. People are a bit more concerned, particularly about things like hugging a child or this sort of stuff. Just looking at how do men find ways of being caring teachers, particularly looking at humour. So humour as a form of care, kind of discipline, and then dialogue, and then that tricky issue of how do male teachers use or not use touch.
Okay, right, interesting. Any interesting insights you want to share from it now?
I'll tell you what, a genuine one. This is a genuine finding. one of the big shifts over the last 20, 30 years. Touching feet.
Touching feet. There you go.
Touching tips. One of the things that we found out was that some of the male teachers that were openly gay felt more comfortable using touch because of perceived feminized perspectives that have been put on them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically, male teachers either went kind of, quote, super masculine and quite distanced, or they embraced aspects of their character that linked more towards so-called feminine ideas, and as a result felt more free doing that traditional maternal caring role. So that was a bit of a surprise, because a lot of the literature, particularly literature from the 90s and early 2000s, was basically saying that, you know, for male teachers who are gay, it's a real struggle. And actually, it seems like the last 15 years or so, it's gone the completely other way. And actually, a lot of teachers who identify openly as gay find their role a lot easier, because they are essentially brokering some of the prejudice. They are brokering some of the maternal views to their advantage, whereas kind of your hegemonic, straight male teacher is still trying to work out how to be a teacher when teaching is so built around feminine
sort of
ideals.
Mr. Phillips with his short shorts on, the PE teacher, you know?
I mean, that is another issue as well. Everyone's terrified of getting in trouble. It's totally nothing to do with adult social care. I've kind of got both ends of the spectrum. It's about care.
Yeah, it's about care, isn't it?
That could be my next piece of work, about male care staff and how they balance.
I think that a lot of that will apply, won't it? Sort of in general interactions, 100%. And I suppose it's because it's still much less common for males to be teachers. Yeah?
It's still that same issue. So teaching, I think it's something like 3% of teachers are male, even less in early years. So it's a similar situation in care. We know that there's a real male care staff are still the minority, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying that needs to be brought to 50-50, but it's still a challenge.
It is what it is, I suppose.
And there is that wider question around, what is it like to be a male care staff team member as opposed to a female? So probably likely that some of the issues in the school research I've done may come through, but that'll be another project for another time. I've got to get this one finished first.
Yeah. So when's that you'll be finished at Christmas?
Well, I'll find out on Friday when my supervisor either sends me a lovely email or a horrible email after reading 83,000 words of my work. So hopefully, my hope is that she comes back and says, tweak this, tweak that, and then we can submit it. She may come back and go, this bit is all rubbish, redo it. So depending on this terrifying email I get on Friday, will really be whether we can submit it before Christmas or just after Christmas. That's the plan. I want to get it in either side of Christmas, depending on how terrible it currently is and how much work needs to be done to it.
How do you sort of strike a balance then of doing something as big as a PhD? Running a business that's busy. Keep busy. And family as well.
Well, I'm probably just an awful husband and father. No, what I do predominantly, it's a good question. So my wife and I set up an ultimatum, which is your PhD is your hobby. So you're not allowed any other hobbies. So I don't, it's my quote unquote fun thing to do. So I don't do, I've got a friend of mine, a dad friend, who goes biking in France for 5 days. That is not an option for me. If I want to do something for 5 days, it's my PhD. So that's the first thing is PhD comes under hobby. So hobby time is PhD time. I greatly regret that 8 years down the line.
I can imagine, Doesn't sound that much fun.
No, it's not fun now. It was fun when I was doing the thinking bit. Now I'm just writing the blooming thing. Less fun. With the business, I have got an amazing team, and you know, people watch all these weird little podcasts and business, all these things. One piece of information that I learned very quickly is hire people that are better than you at the things that you are rubbish at. And this last year, that's exactly what we've done. I've got an amazing team, and it means that something like today, I used to do a care show, go home or go to the travel lodge and work till 4 a.m. Doing survey stuff. Now I've got a great team that do it better than me, to be really frank, have better skills than me, can market what we do better. They've made our PowerPoints that we got for our talk today. They look much better than the ones I used to whack up 2 years ago. So having that team has taken a lot of the day-to-day work and improved it, as well as giving me my time back. And I think with the family stuff, we're just learning a rhythm. We're just learning, trying to get that protected time, whether it's the evening, whether it's on a Friday or it's the weekend, and just trying to build some protected times in. And doing the best that you can.
I think
it is tricky.
We forget that it's everyone's first time.
Totally.
Even if it's your second child, it's your first time having a second child. It's the first time that you've got one that's 10 and one that's 7. Every single element it's the sort of first time of it. And sort of forgiving ourselves for that, because I don't know about you, but I'm not sure I know what I'm doing.
No.
Sorry, boys.
No.
Sorry, they're watching. I'm trying my best to parent you well, but I've no idea.
I said this to my wife a couple of days ago. I said, can you believe that when our daughters in their 30s reflect on their parents, it's us.
Yeah.
It's
us.
us.
What are they going to be saying to their therapist?
I've got a theory about siblings. So every sibling, they're like best friends when they're really little. Then about 8 to 12, they don't really like each other. Then 13 to about 20, they just ignore each other. And then at 20, they bond again. And do you know what they bond over? How rubbish their parents are.
Yeah.
It's just the common thing that in the 20s go, why was Dad like that? Why was I've done it with my brothers, my wife and her sister's done it. So there will come a point where they will rebond over all of our failings. And my aim is just to make sure those failings don't end up in a documentary about why my daughter has done something awful. That's my foundational aim here.
You just don't know, do you? That's you as much as you're sort of trying to do the best. Yeah, we'll see.
Do your best. Save up for the therapy.
We know we're going to mess them up in some way.
It's just kind of making that as small as possible.
Small impacts, while making a big impact on them as well. I don't know. There's no formula for this stuff. We don't. None of us really know what we're doing.
It's actually my other little side project after all of this stuff in the PhD, like this current year, is I'd love to get more into things around the challenges of fatherhood, because I basically had several breakdowns when I became a dad. Not because of my girls were lovely, but I think a lot of us generationally, particularly as fathers, sorry, this has gone way out of the adult social care space, I do apologise, but I think as fathers...
as we would expect.
As we would
expect.
At least it's interesting, unlike some of my usual stuff.
Well, I mean, who knows? The people watching will tell us that later.
I turned off already.
Yeah.
But what I've found...
0 viewers. I mean, we've got no audience either, so it's fine,
What I found was that as a dad, this generation in particular, so us lot in our kind of 30s, 20s, we are dadding in ways that our fathers 100% never did.
Yeah.
Unless you were one of the lucky ones. I was. I love my dad. Never changed a nappy. Never did bath time. I have 2 memories of him taking me out on his own. Wasn't a bad dad. It just wasn't expected of him.
Yeah.
And now in one generation, I am now expected to be there every night for bath time. I have changed almost the same amount of nappies as my wife. It is completely fine for my wife to go and see her family in Canada for a week, me look after the kids. And that's a huge jump that's basically happened in one generation. So many of us are trying to dad in ways that we have never seen before. Now, my wife, and she is mumming the way that her mum mummed her.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? With a few tweaks online. But we are essentially jumping into a dad role that we weren't really shown. And that's a good thing. But I always say, people say, oh, millennial dads are spending 3 times as much time with their kids. They're also, unfortunately, levels of depression, all that sort of stuff is also sky high. I think partially because we're trying to do a job really much better than the last lot, with very little structure, very little support, but also very little example.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that being a dad is harder than being a mum. I know it's not. But we are in uncharted waters, whereas if I look at my wife's day-to-day, it mirrors every one of her ancestors' day-to-day for millennia.
Yeah.
Whereas I look back just one generation to my dad, and I'm like, I am doing 4,000 things that wouldn't have even crossed your mind as a father in the 90s.
Winding back on what you said.
Sorry.
No, you said the word expected, and I'm going to put a little asterisk by it and say you meant to say happy to.
Yeah.
Of course.
Happy to. Willing to. Loving. Yes. But you know what I mean? But there is an expectation.
No, there is that definite change, isn't
in a
there,
good
of
way.
that expectation, and it's sort of, maybe we're treading new ground for that, and hopefully, as fathers we can try and work that out and, be conscious and listen to it. But it's a difficult kind of... Just thinking about it, I think, is the thing. I
think a lot of us don't really do it consciously, and we don't realise, actually, this is a new thing that we have to work out. And I think that's something that actually we're starting to get a lot better at. And and also there's things that we drop, like I don't know how to fix a tyre, but you know what? I'll pay someone to fix a tyre.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to go into the boomer dad skills, but I will pick up these millennial dad skills.
I changed
instead.
the tap a little while ago, and I was well chuffing myself. I was it took me ages, and I cut my finger, and it's like, water everywhere. And it's but no, I was watching YouTube videos about how to do it. But I got there in the end. So.
I paid someone £30 to hang up a mirror in my own house.
Nice.
Because there was one guy, my wife got the school janitor from the school she worked at to come and fit some curtains. And I just sat there playing guitar for him because I was like, there's nothing I can contribute. I can at least mildly entertain him, playing Blink-182 songs on my guitar. So I have, in many ways, a lot of those traditional male skills I just never bothered to pick up.
Yeah, well, maybe you weren't given the opportunity.
Very
weren't trained to. Not enough male teachers.
No, very true.
That,
back to full circle.
So cycling back into sort of care.
What we're actually supposed to be talking
we're
about.
talking about care and conversations. What stuff are you seeing at the moment with the kind of CQC and the trends around that and the changes?
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years now since
of course.
the whole
it's
thing
going
has changed.
swimmingly perfectly.
Yeah, it's going really well. Yeah.
One of the challenges that CQC have had is that the 23 rollout into 24 was a bit of was complicated. That's the phrase I'm going to use.
Yeah.
Complicated. Take the emotion out of the words. Complicated. What that has meant is that a lot of 2025 has been listening, and now what we're seeing is CQC are now explaining, okay, this is how we're changing things into 2026. So we know that in the next month or so, we're going to get a brand new set of quality statements. We know that in the next month...
Is that good? Is that
that
what we
is
want?
good because people felt that 34 was too many. It is, however, upheaval. Because services are going to have to reconsider their evidence gathering, and get used to a new set of areas CQC explore. The other thing that CQC are doing is they're coming out with sector-specific ratings characteristics. So what does outstanding, what does good, what does RI, what does inadequate look like for each of these new quality statements? These are all really good things. The problem is all change is an upheaval, and so one of the things that we're doing a lot of over these next few months is doing as much training as we can, supporting services, free webinars, free resources, so that services feel ready to take on those changes. Because really it's going to be a bit of a slow burn. It's going to be the next 6 to 9 months that services are going to have to kind of move over to these newer approaches. Another big thing is care staff. So your care staff are so central to the inspection now. CQC are really keen to speak on the phone, via email, in person with your care staff. So we're doing a lot of work to train care staff, not to give them lines, this is the best home ever, I love it here, none of that, but just to give them the confidence that they can engage in a real conversation with CQC, rather than that kind of whoa, headmaster, scared pupil. We're just trying to get staff ready and empowered to have a positive experience when they speak with CQC.
And are you finding kind of collecting feedback is getting easier?
Yes and no. I think collecting feedback is certainly had greater prominence. So the stuff that we're doing, the stuff that CQC have done with 3 out of those 5 evidence categories are still feedback. There's no change as the framework moves on. It has meant that there's a more of a switched on, oh, wait there, we've got to do this. And actually the annual survey that we just kind of slightly half sent out to a few people isn't going to be good enough. I think what we're seeing, and a big part of the game that we're playing, is being more advanced with it. So video surveys, video record questions. We've got our first service where we're doing the surveys in 5 different languages: Hindi, Urdu, Punjabi, Polish, and another one that my team will know. This is why I have a team now. So we're trying to push the barrier of what good feedback can look like, and I think that is making it easier as a sector.
Interesting. Okay. Any other thoughts about it you want to share on that on that type of stuff? I
think the only thing to be really aware of is just keep your eyes on your emails over the next few months. For all the wonderful magic that CQC give us, one of the areas that it still isn't that sharp on is getting information out. Often there'll be a random email at 3 o'clock on a Friday, the contents of which are absolutely fundamental and transformative, and you'll just see CQC email and you'll just carry on scrolling to deal with Mrs. Jones, who's in the middle of something else. If you get an email from CQC, build in 10-15 minutes to read it, because it may have some really significant pieces.
I suppose they could also follow you, because you tend to post.
I don't want to self-promote too much, but yes, connect with us on LinkedIn. It is my job to sit and read through all of CQC's emails and make it digestible. Last year, CQC ruined Halloween for my daughters, because on the 31st of October, they emailed a 70-page document out. No one read it. Guess who spent Halloween reading it? Me.
Can I picture you like dressed up, like I don't know, as like
Spider-Man?
Mary Poppins or something like that. You know, modern times.
Mary Poppins
dressed
with
up
my
as Mary
tummy
Poppins,
hanging out.
Yeah.
Too many
Crop top,
spoons full of sugar. Yeah. Reading through
little
all
Bo
these
Peep
outcomes.
or something. Yeah, you know, like typing this up.
So my wife basically just had to take the kids and do Halloween while I just sat and read the documents. So connect with us. Do check those secret emails. There are 3 or 4 massive things coming through this side of Christmas. So really be vigilant and connect with us. We'll be doing lots of free webinars to help people explain it too.
I've got a bit of a spicy question for us to finish on.
Okay, this could go in so many directions.
Biscuits.
Okay. Do you know why the graham cracker was invented?
No, go.
I don't know how much I can say about it.
Okay.
But it was fundamentally invented by I think it was by friars or
we say
monks.
like other biscuits are
Other biscuits are available.
yeah.
But there was a biscuit that was invented in the 1800s, and the idea was that it was so boring that it would quell the kind of sexual awakenings of 16-year-old boys. And so these monks would built this particular biscuit because they thought it was so dull that it would kind of settle all these teenage boys that they were dealing with, who were at school. 100%. That is not a lie. And it's not AI slop. There is something about boring biscuits. It's either the graham cracker or the digestive. It was invented by a vicar in the Victorian times to kind of dull the growing senses
calm people down.
of some of these teenage boys that were entering into adulthood.
If you were a biscuit, what type of biscuit would you be?
The opposite of that. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I would be...
the kinkiest biscuits.
Pink wafer. I don't know what I would be. I would probably be Jammy Dodger. That also has some connotations. I am going to go for Swiss finger. That too. I can only think of the ones that we can't say. Ginger nut. That doesn't work either.
Say them anyway.
All of these biscuits. I can't think of a non-sexualized biscuit.
Okay.
If there is a non-sexualized biscuit, as a married man with 2 children, I would be the non-sexualized biscuit.
So like a chocolate digestive.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Chocolate bourbon.
Yeah.
Are you a dunker?
I don't drink. Right. I don't drink tea or coffee.
Okay.
I've got a theory on this.
Yeah.
Completely scientifically
Dunk it in
invalid.
water.
So, my logic is you wouldn't pour a hot cup of tea on your arm, so why would you pour it down your throat?
Okay.
I don't understand how hot drinks work.
Okay.
Like when I go to Starbucks.
So millennial of you, Louie.
I order a children's hot chocolate and I say, can you have it at children's temperature? Because I get no pleasure burning myself as I drink. I think it's like a mass hallucination that we're all drinking.
You just got no impulse control. So there's a drink in front of you, it's boiling hot, and you're like, no wonder, just wait a couple of minutes.
This is the thing, if I had a kettle of hot water and I just poured it on my child, horribly illegal, wrong, but somehow I can pour it in a cup and then give it to that child and say, drink that, and that's totally normal.
No, you should probably cool it down a bit.
Baby, I just don't understand.
A bit of cold water in there, warm juice.
That was my next campaign.
So
Louie Werth against hot
you
drinks.
don't dunk?
I don't think. I just eat the whole packet.
Would you dunk in someone else's tea?
No, I don't like the tea flavour.
No,
I just raw eat.
I don't know what to
biscuits.
do with this. This is so I had a question around the if you drop the biscuit in, and then would you eat the left? But you don't do that.
It never happens.
Would you ever have milk and cookies?
Yeah, now that I do.
Okay.
Cold milk, cookies, shortbread in particular.
Okay.
I mean, this is what's contributed to my recent diabetes diagnosis.
Lots of sugar on top of it.
I now have to not eat cookies, and so this is now becoming a conversation of temptation.
So you
spend
could
the rest
be
of the day not eating biscuits.
A beautiful Scottish shortbread dripping with cold milk.
What a powerful!
What
a powerful
the power
image.
of the vision. Yeah, that's your next Halloween costume. There you go. It's only just around the corner, so all good. Well, as ever, Louie, a pleasure.
Hopefully about 15 seconds of this we can use.
All of that just goes into the weird highlights reel. Yeah,
stuff I can blackmail Louie with in the future. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to see you.
No worries, mate. See you soon. Or we'll be back shortly. No, I think. Oh no, we do have another guest in the studio. Ready to go. Right. Perfect. All right.
Perfect organisation.
We'll be back in a minute. Thank you.